Last summer, my wife and kids decided to take a trip to my parents' cabin in the woods. It's a beautiful place, far from the chaos of the city, but my wife invited her parents along for the weekend, which wasn't exactly ideal for me. Don't get me wrong, I love my wife, but her mother drives me crazy. Within a few hours of being around her, I was already at my breaking point. I couldn't even sleep that night. All I could do was curse her mother in my head. By 3 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to go hunting, not because I cared about catching anything, but because I just needed to get away from my in-laws for a while. I always bring my gear when I visit my parents' place, just in case I feel like going out into the woods. I grabbed my dad's old bolt-action rifle, left a note for my wife, and headed out before dawn. I made my way to one of my old hunting blinds, climbed up, and settled in. The quiet of the woods was soothing, and I quickly started to drift off to sleep, but I was abruptly awakened by the strangest sound I'd ever heard. It was like a mix between a dry heave and someone laughing, but it sounded wrong, guttural and disturbing. I stood up cautiously, scanning the area as dawn's first light barely illuminated the trees. Through the scope of my rifle, I thought I saw something move behind a tree. It looked like a person, but I couldn't be sure. I waited, but nothing appeared. I started to think I had imagined it, maybe just a sick animal moving around, so I relaxed and went about preparing some coffee on my stove. I was distracted by the sound of the stove, but then I heard something else. It was a large movement, much closer this time. I grabbed my rifle again and looked around, but saw nothing. A few seconds later, the sound came from the other direction, even closer. I scanned the area, but again, nothing. I stepped back from the wall of the blind, and that's when I heard something outside the door. I looked through the small opening, and what I saw froze me in place. There, no more than 30 feet away, was the face of an old man peeking out from behind a tree. His face was gray and covered in greasy, wrinkled skin. He was smiling at me, but it wasn't a friendly smile. He had no teeth, just red, swollen gums. His head was bald except for a few strands of gray hair. I was so startled I stumbled backward, spilling hot water and trail mix all over the floor. I scrambled to turn off the stove to avoid setting the whole place on fire, but in the few seconds it took, the old man had closed the distance between us. Before I knew it, he opened the door, standing above me wearing nothing but tattered briefs. I reached for the rifle, but he immediately dropped to the floor and started eating the spilled trail mix like an animal. I backed into the corner, watching him devour the food, swallowing it whole. He looked at me afterward with a cold, hungry stare, making the same guttural noises I'd heard earlier. In a panic, I grabbed the chili I had brought with me and slid it across the floor toward him. He sniffed it, stuck his tongue out, and licked it clean, as if marking it as his. Within moments, the entire container was empty. I knew then that I was in real danger. He wasn't going to stop until he had more. But as he was distracted, I saw my chance and bolted. I grabbed only the rifle and ran as fast as I could back to the cabin, leaving the old man behind. I told my family about the encounter, but they laughed it off. The sheriff came and searched the area, but they found no trace of the man. To this day, I still have nightmares about him. What if he was planning to eat me next? I can't shake the thought that he's still out there, somewhere in those woods. I'm never going back to that cabin again.